Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here, and today we're back again with another Danmachi Battle Chronicle video. And of course, it is day one of the game being live, so you know what that means. The first video that we're going to be producing for this game is of course a reroll guide. Now, of course, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi and Danmachi Battle Chronicle content, and let me know in the comment section down below what are your thoughts on the game so far. I know it's very early days. It's only been like about 4 to 5 hours since the game has been live, but of course, if you have had the time to get some initial thoughts in, and you've had the time to play the game for a couple of hours, what do you guys think? I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say down below, and I might be using your comments in a upcoming video. I'll be doing my own day one initial thoughts as well, probably later on in the day, so I might use some of the comments and read through them and see what you guys think as well, and maybe compare your thoughts to my own thoughts as well. So make sure you guys leave your comments in the comment section down below. Now, before we carry on, I would like to say that this is not a tier list video. There will be a separate tier list video probably on Friday night or Saturday morning or something like that, because there needs to be time given to understanding the gameplay's mechanics a little bit more. Of course, going from the closed beta test to the launch version of the game is a little bit more drastic than I thought. There are a couple of new things to learn about the game in terms of the new units that are obviously in the game, along with a couple of other different mechanics that have been introduced as well. Mainly stuff like things like the camera movement, the auto battle being improved a little bit. It feels like ranged characters surprisingly feeling extremely good on PC at least, and I don't know about mobile. I'm going to be trying that out later today. Of course, right now we're on my mobile app actually, funnily enough, but I am on PC primarily. My main account is on my PC, so of course I'm going to be testing out the range characters on mobile, seeing how it is, because PC feels very, very lovely, very, very smooth, and it's been a lot of fun using a ranged character, and we'll come on to that later on in the video. But there's these things and these factors that we need to consider before we make the tier list. So this video is going to be dedicated towards getting the ideal combination of units more so than anything else, and telling you guys exactly why you want to get the certain units you want to get, basically, because a lot of people have been questioning why you're trying to get certain things. What is the reason behind this? What is the reason behind that? Don't worry, I will be clarifying every single detail in this video. Now, before we go in and start doing the multis all willy-nilly, first and foremost, I want to tackle the gacha details primarily, because there's a weird thing with this infinite reroll gacha. A lot of you might be wondering why you're getting the same character again and again and again quite regularly. Well, the final draw, first and foremost, and we'll tackle the final draw first and foremost. The final draw that you do in this multi, this infinite reroll multi, is a guaranteed UR. You get a guaranteed UR no matter what, and it's a guaranteed adventure UR in particular, and even more so in particular, it's out of 5 URs only. So if we go to the very bottom of your draw rates, right, as you can see right here, the 10th draw is always guaranteed to be red Bell, yellow Lafia, blue Tiona, purple Aisha, or purple Finn. It's one of those 5 will always be the unit that you get at the last spot. So that is something that you want to keep in mind, because afterwards, if you look at the draws between 1 to 9 basically, so the first 9 singles that you get from the multi, basically, you can get anything. You can get an SR, SSR, or you can get an additional UR. So obviously a lot of people will end up getting one of these 5 for sure, no matter what, right? And on top of that, you're ideally wanting to get additional URs in the 1 to 9 slots, basically, right? And that's where things get very interesting, because what you can do, and this is where I would suggest you guys pay close attention, is try and get units maybe for these units, basically. So for Bell, you might want to get an assist that can go alongside that Bell in the form of potentially units like Hestia, for example. If we go over to the assist side, right? Yeah, here it is. So you can see Hestia is a red DPS assist, of course. As you can see, the icons match with Bells, of course, right? If you go all the way to the top, little rookie Bell Cranell, UR adventure, attribute is red, and the typing in the middle is, of course, the sword and wand, which means he is a DPS unit. And it's the same if we go down to the assist section and we check out Hestia, UR red DPS assist. So you kind of want to pair these two kind of characters together. Like that, there are multiple pairs as well. the first other pair that we have outside of Bell and Hestia is Ryu, and along with Ryu, you have Seer as well. If we go down here, you can see Seer and Ryu have the same element and the same typing as well. Then if you go back up, you can see Tiona is a blue unit and it's a DPS unit, and she also pairs up with units like Chigusa, who's a blue DPS unit, and Hephaestus, who's also a blue DPS unit. So yet again, they pair up really well. And in terms of the yellow DPS unit in the form of Lafia, well, her assist partner is actually Lily, who is also a yellow DPS unit. So those are the type of combinations you want to get. You want to get Bell and Hestia, for example. You want to get Ryu and Seer. You want to get, of course, the likes of Lafia and Lily. You want to get Tiona and Hephaestus or Chigusa, one of those two assists, and so on and so forth. However, I will say this. You can get away with going for a off-typing assist as long as the coloring matches. That is good enough, in all honesty. More often than not, that will be good enough, assuming you go for the right sort of like typing and combination, right? I wouldn't necessarily say that going for Bell, who is a red DPS unit, and putting him alongside Takemi Kazuchi is the smartest idea. I mean, it'll still work, don't get me wrong, it'll still work, but Takemi Kazuchi is focused on obviously damage reduction, increasing endurance and stuff like that, whereas Bell is focused on all-out performance and attacking performance more so than anything else. He's not interested in defending himself. However, on the other side, putting Mikoto or Riveria alongside Takemi Kazuchi, and you've got yourself a very sort of like tanky support unit and healer unit in that regard. So that's something to bear in mind as well, to be quite honest, in that you might want to go for that sort of a combination. And with that, I'd like to say that your ideal reroll in this situation would probably be at least 3 URs, in my personal opinion. You need to get at least a minimum of 3 URs, and those 3 URs need to be either adventures or assists, in my personal opinion. They can, I feel like scene cards, while useful, I think at least at the start of the game, you want to prioritize more so than anything else. You want to prioritize assists and adventures over scene cards, especially when you're doing your infinite reroll. So that's something to bear in mind. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of all of these, the URs in particular, and what I'm going to be doing is later on in the video, or whenever you want to do it, you guys can go into the description down below, and I will be leaving an Imgur link where you guys can go and access it, and you guys can see for yourselves the actual like cards and URs and all that, everything that's available in the banner basically, because unfortunately once you start, you can't just leave. You have to either keep redrawing or you have to confirm. Basically, there's no, you know, ifs, buts, or maybes. Now, if you want to actually leave and, you know, you want to see the gacha rates for yourselves on your own phone, there is technically a way to do it, of your phone or PC, whichever device you're playing on. There is a way to do it. All you'll have to do is just close the app basically. If you close the app, the reroll gets cancelled basically. They don't let you accept that specific reroll. They'll cancel that reroll, and then they'll basically take you back to this page basically again, and you have to start the process all over again. So there is no sort of like penalty for your game crashing or your game just automatically closing or you closing the game for some reason or another. There is no issue in that regards. It's very much just a case of, okay, your game crashed, we'll take you back to the very beginning. This roll that you did doesn't matter, it's okay, we'll just chuck it away to the side, you will restart you, right? So that's the way it works. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a couple of free draws and do a couple of the infinite rerolls, and we're gonna just go over the summon animation as well, let you guys see the summon animation as well at least 2-3 times, and then we'll skip a couple of times and we'll just talk about generally how it's looking like in terms of all the multis that I've seen so far, not only just from my end but from other people's ends, because obviously if you guys didn't know, we've been live for about 5 to 6 hours, I would say, on YouTube, on this channel of course, right? And I was in reroll hell for about an hour and a half basically. It was rough. Of course, I managed to get my account sorted out, so that was great, but I was seeing people get like 4 or 5 viewers. I saw somebody even got 6 apparently, which is insane. So there are people getting some really good luck when it comes to these polls, to be quite honest. So you might want to try and you know, keep going as much as you want and as long as possible, and maybe even wait it out until, you know, whenever we get to making the tier list list inevitably, right? I might even make the tier list live on stream, because I will need some help from people to get an idea on where to place certain units, where to place certain assists and stuff like that. I might be taking some help from YouTube chat for sure, potentially, when it comes to building the tier list, because it's going to be something that's going to have to be a joint effort, right? Especially as somebody who's not, actually spending on the game actively, right? And, getting all the adventures and assists together, right? I'm not doing that. Unfortunately, I do not have the physical capacity for that, unfortunately. So yeah, that's going to be something to note as well, is that the tier list is going to have to be reliant on more so you guys and your guys' information, as well as obviously my interpretation of what's happening with the unit and everything, right? So that's going to be the case. So far, my rerolls on this account have not been amazing, unfortunately. They've not been that great, unfortunately. It seems like I'm only getting that last unit only, which is kind of unfortunate. We've got Lafia as well, but yeah, we've only been getting that last unit, basically. We've not gotten any more than that. Oof. That's rough. But yeah, that was pretty much my luck in the live stream as well. Like, I was just not getting anything. Especially at the start, I was only getting like 1 or 2 units at most. It was really, really bad. But now, thankfully, it seems like I'm getting at least a scene card and a unit. I swear this wasn't the same as the last one, bro. I was about to say there's no way they just gave me the same exact multi, but no, the scene card was from the one before that, basically. That would have been a bit funny if it was exactly the same. Now, to let you guys know exactly how you can identify if it's an adventure or an assist, basically, right? If it's an adventure, as you guys saw there, it would be a black screen with white text, basically. And if it's an assist, it'll be a white background and black text, basically. So that's how you identify between it being a an adventure and an assist. Now, one thing a lot of people noticed as well in their rerolls was that the assists were harder to pull for some reason, even though the rates were pretty much identical. I don't know if you guys saw that. Wow, double Lafia, very nice. Thanks, game. Even though the rates were doubled, or the rates were shown and they are identical technically for steps 1 to 9, a lot of people felt like there were more adventures being shown than assists, to be quite honest. And this was what was happening basically again and again, was that we were getting the same heroes and it didn't feel any different. I feel like if they really wanted to, I wish they would have done done a thing where instead of having Aisha, Lafia, Belle, Finn and Tiona be the only units you can get in the final step, I wish it was just any adventure could be given in that final step. I get what they were trying to do, give us a proper DPS unit to start off with, a DPS UR. But I feel like they could have probably gone about just giving us an adventure no matter what at the end, and then you can, re-roll for the assist or something. I think that would have been far, far better, to be quite honest. I think a lot more people would be happy, because a lot of people were disappointed that they couldn't, get their favorite assist and adventure combo. Like, some people were trying to go for Seer and Ryu, and because Ryu isn't in the last slot, you have to try and get Ryu and Seer in the middle sections, which is really, really frustrating and very, very annoying. So that is something to bear in mind as well. Now, one more thing to note in regards to the infinite reroll, of course, right, is that it's not a hard and fast rule to try and get 3 or more URs. You can get 2 URs and leave, but I would suggest if you're going for 2 URs, stick with the idea of you wanting to get them the same color element. You want to try and get them to have the same color element. So if it's Lafia, you want to try and get her Loki or Lily. If you're going for Belle, try and get him Taki Mikazuchi or Hestia, and so on and so forth. That is the priority more so than anything else, in my personal opinion, and I'll come on to why in just a moment. We're going to be shifting to my PC account in just a moment to give you guys an idea on exactly why that is so important, and why that makes a big difference, especially at the start of the game when combat power especially is so important, because the combat penalty, the combat power penalty, the CP penalty is still a thing. Unfortunately, that is still a thing. Why am I getting back-to-back Aishas? That is so funny. Another thing to note, unfortunately, it's this weird thing that they've been doing in this infinite reroll system, and it was the same thing that was even in the closed beta test infinite reroll system, is that if you get a dupe of a character, they'll only give you 1 coin, and you need 10 coins to increase the dupe of your character. And uncap, I guess, the limit break for the character in terms of their dupes, basically. The awakening side of things, uncap the awakening. And unfortunately, because you need 10, in the normal banners, you will get 10 coins for a UR card. But in the infinite reroll, that's not the case at all. That is not the case whatsoever. There we go, we got a scene card. Fantastic. Thank you so much, game. You finally gave me something else. You gave me something else. Not much, but you gave me something else there. We'll do one reroll, and then we're gonna move on to the to my account, actually, and we're gonna be talking about why exactly you're trying to target this idea of having the same attribute, the same element, and why is also the typing important as well, because that is something to note as well. That is very, very important as well, the typing and stuff. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind and be wary. Now, if you are also wanting to look at the unit skill as well, right? And if you aren't comfortable with, like, say, for example, picking up Aisha, and you're not sure about this account for some reason, you probably aren't sure because it's only literally one adventure and one scene card. So if you want to look at what the unit or scene card does, you can just click on it and you can see right here. When the game starts, 100% reduce special move cooldown to self, which is insane. And then if you look at Aisha, if you click on Aisha, you can just go to the skill details right here and you can see exactly what she's capable of doing, what are her abilities, what are the multipliers and whatnot. This is at, of course, max level. You can also check it at the min level, which is, of course, at level 1 and everything, and see what exactly the multipliers are and everything of that sort. So it just allows you to basically get an idea on what the characters are capable of doing, and if it fits your playstyle in some way, shape, or form, maybe you can get an idea of like what the unit is doing with their skill. Then you can make the decision on whether or not you want to stick with that unit, or do you want to probably go for somebody else instead, maybe, and and go from there. Basically, I got Bell again. Thanks, game. Honestly, this is ridiculous. This is crazy. I've literally the mobile summons have not been good whatsoever. The mobile summons have not been good whatsoever. So now we're gonna move on to my account, my main account, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I got and why I went with the combination that I did. Now we move on to my main account, and this is the look of my team setup at this moment in time. The URs that I managed to get from my reroll was Lafia, Lily, Aisha, and this specific scene card. Now, for the time being, I'd like you guys to ignore Aisha and the scene card for the time being. I know it's hard to ignore Aisha, but we must ignore Aisha for now, and we must pay more closer attention to Lafia and Lily, as they will be the topic of our conversation for the rest of this video. Now, the first thing you guys need to notice is the attribute bonus, which is actually applicable to all 3 units on this team. The adventure and the assist have the exact same typing for all 3 units, and the thing is, right, that gives you a 10% attribute bonus. So that basically means you get a 10% stats bonus across your units, basically, which is really, really important, especially when you're trying to, get the recommended power and you're trying to meet up to that recommended power as well. And of course, if you're going into, say, for example, the battle royale game mode, or even the 3v3 auto battle PvP mode as well, right? So you want to just try and take these units and give them the right assists, as well as have the right adventures and the right pairings together to make sure you're getting that attribute bonus and you're having the right setup together. Now, that is the reason why I've been recommending people in the live stream and in this video that if you are planning on summoning, make sure you guys are getting units of the same typing like I did. The reason I took this reroll and I ran with it was because I had Lafia and Lily together, and I didn't even think I was going to choose Lafia because I've been ragging on ranged units for quite a while now. Even before the game launched, I hated ranged units because of how bad the CBT test was. CBT test doesn't make sense. It's because CBT is closed beta test. But during the closed beta test, obviously Cassandra was a unit that I used who was great as a supporting unit. Cleanse, buff, heal, everything was very, very nice. But from a ranged attacker perspective, she was missing consistently. Of course, now being on PC and being able to use mouse and keyboard and control the characters a little bit more, Lafia is so much better. She's able to be used in a much, much, much nicer way, and I really, really like her. So obviously, everything ended up being really well. In all honesty, I was a bit annoyed that I had to run with Lafia because I was getting extremely tired, but I had to take it because I had that combination of Lafia and Lily together where their typings and their elements were matching completely. Now if we take a look at Lily really quickly, right, if we take a look at Lily and her skills more so than anything else, if we go to skill info right here, right, you can see right here that she's able to do an attack when you use her assist skill in battle, basically, right? But that's not what I want to look at. I want to look at her passives more so. So adventure assist number 1 is when in battle, 20.6% strength increase to self, which obviously in the case of Lufia doesn't make much sense. But then you go into the second one, when in battle, 15.5% increase magic to self, which is really, really nice. And now if you go to her skill details, right, if you go to her skill details and you add everything together, this is obviously if you limit break her, this is what she gets, which isn't that significant. The limit breaks don't seem too crazy just yet. We'll have to do some more testing and see how important dupes are, because that is the topic that I want to have for a future like stream slash video, to be quite honest, because there's a lot to discuss on that front, right? But if you take a look at the final skill, you do get an extra 10% stamina as well when you do unlock it, of course, right? So these sort of things where you're trying to identify what works well together and what can, you know, cooperate with the units really well. Like, of course, the magic bonus is fantastic for Lafia, right? Strength bonus less so, but the magic bonus is super, super nice for Lafia, and that's gonna help her deal extra damage. So that having units like these that are capable of working well together is very, very important. That being said, though, if you go to the gacha side of things, right, and I really want to check out if we go to the assist side, and I'm trying to see if we can potentially summon Loki from out of nowhere. That's Seer. That's the wrong one, because we can click on character details and actually check out these units. So hopefully we can come across Loki. It would be very, very nice. Unfortunately, there's no other way of actually looking at other units. I can just click and see. Oh, really? These are the 3 that we can see right now? Great, fantastic. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do here? So Seer, right, is a perfect example, because Seer and Ryu are a good combination, like I said, right? And if you look at Seer's buffs basically and what she does, so when she uses her active skill, she's able to give a 20% shield, which is really great, because Ryu isn't a attacker, or nor is she a tank. She's supposed to be a buffer as well. She's supposed to help with speed. So she gives 20.5 dexterity, she gives 15% magic, and she gives extra normal attack damage, which actually helps Ryu out a lot as well. If we go and check out Ryu right here, there we go. Thank you. No, that's Lafia. That's the wrong adventure. If we take a look at Ryu right here, there we go. Thank you so much. We managed to finally get to her. You can see that a lot of her stuff is like she's giving herself 75% magic. She's increasing her movement speed. She's increasing the allies' movement speed, but she's not got any sort of like crazy attacks. Her multipliers aren't as high as some other units, right? So you want to just try and make sure that she's getting that support ability from a unit like Seer as well. So that's where that balance comes into play, where you want to have units that are capable of working together efficiently and effectively as well. There's also that Hestia and Bell duo and combo that you want to look into and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to, of course, the idea of building a team and building a setup. And the reroll is supposed to be for that purpose, where you try and get that initial launch off, right? You don't... Obviously, you know, units will get power crept inevitably. This is a PvP gacha game at the end of the day. Units will get power crept. However, right now you want to have the best start possible. So I would highly recommend trying to get at least 2 units of the same element and maybe the same typing. And maybe along with it, maybe an extra UR if possible. Of course, there is no, you know, forcing... I'm not going to force you guys to try and go for that 3rd UR, but it is obviously recommended because it'll just help the team out massively, of course, right? But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section down below. Hopefully this video could help you guys out in some way, shape, or form in explaining things a bit clearer. Of course, I will be leaving some combinations down below in the comment section for you guys to look at. In the description down below, there will be a link to the gacha draw rates as well. And if you have any questions, let me know. I will try and make a tier list very, very soon to just try and get an idea on and a feel for where I would place all the URs that are currently available in the game. And before the next UR releases, who is likely to, and it's most likely going to be a green healer Haruhime, an adventure Haruhime who is a green healer. So keep that in mind and look forward to that. Of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi and Danmachi Battle Chronicle content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take it easy everybody. Bye bye.